It's the late night edition of the Friday night Q&A. This is serious. Cap mode time. Dallas Cowboys to the day I die, bro. That so we're in it. We're in it to win it, bros. It is time to talk about anything and everything. All right. This is the late night, early morning edition, obviously. Shout out to everybody watching around the world. The billions watching in amazement as we discuss our 6-5-1 Dallas Cowboys. It's amazing, bro. It really is amazing what the Cowboys have done here the last 3 weeks. They looked dead in the water. They've come back to life. All right. It's almost like Night of the Living Dead, all right? The resurrection of Christ, or whatever you want to call it, bro. It is of that caliber, all right? But the discussion today, as you guys can tell here, is we'll kick it off with this. Could Dak Prescott be the NFL's MVP, all right? At 6-5-1, realistically, right now, I think he's barely entering the discussion. Obviously, a lot of people are starting to talk about this as far as like the MVP discussion, and I think it is time to talk about it, right? So, I welcome all comments, all questions, and we will discuss this as we discuss this late night, early morning live edition of Cowboys blog. All right, so yeah, dude. So as we see right now, 6-5-1. We just did a sweep of last year's Super Bowl participants, the Eagles, Chiefs, and then we have probably the biggest test of the year coming up here with on the road with the Detroit Lions. But as it sits right now, we'll just take a glimpse at the MVP odds for Dak Prescott. And obviously, that is not the goal. We want the Super Bowl. That is the ultimate goal. But when we're talking about league MVP, they kind of go they kind of go together. So for Dak Prescott right now, the odds sitting here at 6-5-1 are hovering around 3%. All right, he's currently at probably 3%. Now, for him to get into the realistic discussion, the Cowboys will need to make the playoffs. All right. He already has some marquee wins, so he's got that check box. Right now, he's currently sitting at. Let me take a look here. He is. He has a lot. He has a lot of yardage. He's number one in yardage. Right. In the league, he's number one. He's number one, or he's in the top 3 for EPA efficiency. So that's outstanding as well. So he has the stats there. Now it's about the wins. All right. Now here's where it gets interesting. If the Cowboys have a strong finish and end the season, 11-5-1 or somewhere like this, or even 10-6-1 as a wild card, he's going to hit the marks with the interceptions, the low interception rates. Now, what you have to keep in mind in here is only 2 MVPs in the last 40 years were not a top 2 seed in the NFL playoffs. So that is something that he would need to really that's a big part of it. You know what I mean? He would have to really win in the playoffs, win in the division round, get to the championship round at the minimum to get an MVP trophy for the first time here for the Cowboys. A Cowboys player has not had the league MVP since I believe it was I think it was Emmitt Smith or Troy Aikman, right? It was one of those, and we're talking about the 90s. We're talking about a 30-plus year drought. All right, so yeah, he's got an uphill battle. So the discussion is there. It's starting to be talked about, but realistically, it's going to be an uphill battle for Dak Prescott to have a league MVP. Right now, you're looking at the top two seeds. You're looking at. Here, we can take a look at it here. Let's check this out here. Right now, look at this. The top two seeds right now in the NFC are. This is crazy. Right now, the LA Rams, they're 9-2, so that would be Matthew Stafford. He's in the MVP discussion. And the second seed, can you believe this crap? The Chicago Bears. So even the young up and coming Caleb Williams would be in the league MVP discussion right now. And if you look at the AFC, you look at the number one seed, the Patriots, the Cheatriots. All right. That would be Drake May, another young quarterback, right? The number two seed, Bo Nix. All right, that's Denver at 9-2, another young quarterback. So, like we've said before, this league, it is about the young quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford is the elder statesman of that group, obviously, right now as it sits right now. Those are the top two seeds, AFC. NFC. That's over the last 40 years, only two have been outside of the top two seeds. So, it would be rare for MVP to be named, if they get to the wild card or the divisional round and lose. That typically does not happen, and it hasn't happened in over 40 years. So that is a long, long time. We're talking the 1980s. All right, so we're talking like early '80s. So yeah, the Cowboys are not going to get into the top two seeds. So for the path for Dak Prescott to realistically be the league MVP, it would be for him and the Cowboys to run the table and crush people in the playoffs, and then he'll enter that discussion right now. But if you're looking at it right now, all young quarterbacks, Drake May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. The only elder statesman, like I said, would be Matthew Stafford there with the Rams. So those are your league leaders for the MVP race as we sit right now. Cowboys and Dak, they keep what they're doing. They can make some noise here. How's everybody doing tonight? 805 on. What's up, bro? Glad you're joining here. Late night, early morning antics. Night. I'm trying to keep this going every Friday night. We have leaked over into Saturday morning, but fuck it. All right. Gul Ram, he's playing the best ball in his career right now. He is playing really, really good football, man. I don't think anybody can take that away from him. Even the haters have to acknowledge this. You know what I mean? So, it feels like a magical season, like I've said before. So, let's keep this thing going. There's no way Jerry lets Pickens walk. He's going to pay him. He's a big part of Dak's success lately. Right on, man. Yeah, let's have some questions come in here. Let's talk about this, right? We talked about Dak Prescott's odds of the MVP. I laid it out here for you guys. Thank you for letting me explain that to you guys. Appreciate that. Pound that like button if you haven't already and subscribe. So let's talk about Pickens, man. At the minimum, I think he'll get the franchise tag. You know what I mean? That's going to pay him a big chunk of cash. But we have to remember, his agent is David Mulligetta, the agent of agents. All right, the arch enemy of Jerry Jones. So that's going to come into play. Hopefully, they have learned from this experience with Parsons, and they can, work something out long term. But if anything, minimum franchise tag. But he's earned a big contract, man. I think the Cowboys will pay him, and you will have, if you can lock up George Pickens here with CeeDee Lamb, that window opens for the elder statesman of Dak Prescott. And at that point, you really do, as Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones look at this, they really at that point need to put all the chips in, man. And just go all in, because you're gonna have, for at least four good seasons, two of the best receivers in the NFL on your team. You have a quarterback who's playing at a high level right now. The defense, I think if you can improve that, this team could be in contention for a couple of seasons, but you have to put the chips in. You can't have a cheapo free agency. People are already spewing false narratives about there won't be any money in the cap. That's a false narrative. They can move around money like they always have. But the thing is, I'd rather them get a top tier free agent somewhere, maybe a right tackle or left tackle. One of those tackles needs to get replaced or moved around, right? Guyton, injury prone. He is injury prone. It's not bad luck. He taps out and he goes out. Steele, he sucks. So free agency, maybe you go that route. I really don't want to do another draft pick on an offensive tackle. Just get you a solid free agent. You know what I mean? I don't want to do any more of these first round bust reclamation projects that Will McClay and these guys have been doing. I think that has proven to be a disaster, or it really puts the roster behind the eight ball, and then they're scrambling to make trades for premium picks for other players on other teams. That's a sign that they have not been drafting well, and they haven't, defensively especially. When you're having to use your own draft picks and get proven commodities that are on other teams, that means that your drafting is kind of shitty. All right, so this season really brought that to the forefront here because they got aggressive, man. I think Jerry said, "Hey, man, this crap hadn't been working. We're gonna do it my way, motherfuckers." We had Trader Jerry break out. Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson. He looked at this roster and said, "These former first-round busts. We got rid of Kyer Elam. Hayden Turner didn't even make the team, and a lot of these other bust guys that they brought in here in free agency. It looked kind of exciting in the offseason. Oh, this guy was a former first-round player, but they were all bust." So, all that to say, man, you do have to bring back Pickens. You do have to bring him back. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Good morning, Jose. Sanchez, what's up, brother? We need to combine free agency with draft picks. DE and draft, yes. Sign a free agent. DE Chubb, linebacker in the draft. Sign a free agent. Yeah, man, I think everything's on the table, especially defensively. Linebackers definitely on board with that. Defensive end, we got to get another one. And I don't want just a run stuffing special. I want somebody that gets after the quarterback on a consistent basis. We need another wrecking ball out there. Dog Pounds Edits blog, do you see the Cowboys keeping Javonte Williams? If so, what will his contract be around? So Javonte Williams, that's a good question. I think he's been solid. I feel like it's going to be another repeat of the Rico Dowdle. You know what I mean? But should they have kept Dowdle? I think that's what they'll ask themselves when they have the Javonte Williams discussion. As far as well, we let Rico go. He's still producing at a high level here for the Panthers. And Javonte Williams, he's still going to be young. I think he's like 26, 27, like that, or something like that. So I would bring him back. Cowboys, knowing how they're feeling about the free agents and running back, probably looking at maybe like a 2 or 3 year deal at the most, I would think. You know what I mean? So, but they have to give him an offer, because what you have here, you've got Malik Davis. He's been on and off the team. Jadon Blue looks like he's a project, a big project. Phil Moff is the one that I think that will be a good player to complement whoever your number one is, which would hopefully be Javonte Williams or even a draft pick. So, good question there, man. But I do like Javonte Williams. I like his physical run style. I think he fits nicely with this offensive line and the coaching staff. I would like to bring him back. DB, safety, running back as well. Safety, I think, is huge. I think they have to look at that. Cowboys, have not drafted a safety since Roy Williams out of Oklahoma Sooners during the Dave Campo era. So that is a long drought. That's the second longest drought next to quarterback as far as players drafted in the first round. So safety, I think you have to have one, especially if you keep Eberflus. That Tampa defense, they rely heavily on the sideline to sideline safety, and we don't have that right now. So yeah, down history. Yeah, he's been pretty durable here lately. He finally turned it around. Definitely need a right tackle in the future. Definitely do need that indeed. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Do appreciate you guys. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, man, and really enjoyed the game. You know what I mean? Like it was a hell of a game. Cowboys, they showed a lot of grit, and they've been showing a lot of promise here. That this isn't the Cowboys from early in the season where they didn't look the part at all, man. They looked like they were going to be in the basement. And like I said, they have revived themselves, all right? So that's what we got tonight, guys, man. It is late. I do appreciate the questions and comments here as we talk about some of this. And just want to keep this going here. So we got another question here. Alex, 2643. Do you think the team keeps Nate Thomas at left tackle the rest of the year? I honestly feel like once Guyton comes back from whatever he has, supposedly it's a high ankle, which is usually like a 4-week kind of deal. But for him, I feel like Guyton's he's gonna drain that as much as he can. He's that type of player, bro. Guyton is not one of these guys that's gonna be hurrying it up to get back on the field. He's gonna go through every rehab and everything and take his time, and he just is not a dog, bro. Yeah, he looks like a big player, a mammoth out there, but the guy, once he starts getting beat, the wheels fall off so fast on him, man. He's been disappointing, dude. So for Nate Thomas, the thing I do like about Nate Thomas is that you give him some playing time and he starts to play well. If you throw him in here, cold off the bench to take over for Steele or somewhere like this, yeah, you're gonna get a player that looks like that, like cold off the bench, rusty. So, but I think if you have him in there getting the first team reps in practice, and getting that starting role during the games, he'll look the part. I mean, he looked good the other times that he actually started for Guyton this year. Not perfect by any means, but I felt like he played better than Guyton, man. I mean, if we're being quite honest, we got to look past his draft. He was a first-round pick, but not all first-round picks work out here. We've seen that with Mozzie. Guyton, they're going to try to move him, I think, in the offseason. I think that'll be the competition at right tackle to salvage something from him, right? But he's not reliable when it comes to durability, and he's shown that. He's missing a lot of time in camp. He's missing games during the year, and you can call it luck, bad luck, this and that, but at some point, that bad luck, it is proneness to injury. You know what I mean? That's what we had with Sean Lee. That's what we had with various players. Where it was. You know what I mean? But some fans, they just don't want to admit that. But we'll see, dude. We'll see. Yeah, Nate Thomas did have a good game against the Chiefs. Booker is looking good, man. He's been looking good for a rookie. You know what I mean? He's gotten beat a couple times, but he has the upside, and I think he has the right mindset where he gets on a player and he does finish the block. You know what I mean? And I like to see that. I like when my linemen finish their block whistle to whistle. That's what I like about him. Yeah, definitely, man. I think you have to look at Guyton at right tackle, and if that doesn't work, then yeah, you look at something else. Conference Sports Lounge. I believe the Cowboys will go to the playoffs, but I like them to also prove it in the playoffs, especially Dak. Yeah, man, that's a huge one there, right? Because that's we've seen that we've seen Dak not have the best in the playoffs when the brighter lights come on, right? So there's always levels to this game, you know, whether it's a rookie or a veteran. The lights they do affect some people, and the brighter lights in the playoffs those affect some players. And Dak in some of these games with our rivals, just hasn't done it. So he does have to prove that. Um, Very good discussion here, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys very much, man. Thank you guys for visiting the channel all season. But I think that's gonna be it tonight. Just want to hop on here real quick and keep this Friday night Q&A session go. And before you guys head out, hit that like button, subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you guys for the next video, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out, everybody.